Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Two Gents Podcast. I do this show called Sit in Your Space. It comes up under Two Gents Podcast, but it gives me an opportunity to come on here and just kind of express some of my thoughts and go from there. You know, this weekend I had an opportunity to really review some stuff in my mind, and I tossed and I tumbled all weekend about this same subject that I'm about to go over because I had this other show scheduled where I want to take you down a path and show you the reason why you're upset, the reason why you feel the way you do, and how you got there. Well, I was going to tell you I was going to lay it out, and I realized that maybe I wasn't the only one that was hurt during that process. I wasn't the only one that was hurt during that process because some other people have fought to get to this point too. They have fought to get to this point too. And I'm going to call out a name. I'm not going to dwell on it. I just want to call out a name because I seen the work that they put in. I seen what they did. And I had already got this other video set up, ready to, man, go in hard. But sometimes going in hard doesn't solve anything. Sometimes what you think works doesn't work. What you call a wrong might be right, all right with some other people. So what you have to do when you get to that point and you find yourself doing that, you have to figure out what works. And what works for me is coming up with a solution to a problem that I see that's out there. A solution, not a say it's okay, but a solution that's gonna work, that's gonna benefit more than just one person. Let me just say this. I want to take my hat off to a certain person. I seen your battle. Trust me. I went into your page and I saw the effort that you was putting in. I saw the access that you had access to, the people. So when you made your thing, and it's not out there no more, I still have a copy. When you made your thing, you were feeling pretty much like we are right now. And I'm gonna call out a name. Most of y'all ain't gonna never know her. And I just hope she gets back on track. And I hope that she gets back on track with what I'm about to share with you guys right now, because we're gonna need everybody to get on track. We see, when I came on here before, I've been coming on here being divisive, saying it ain't no way, holding somebody accountable for something without giving them a way out, having them go through all these emotions and calling out other people's actions. But here's what I discovered during that process: that you can continue to fight the fight. You can continue to get frustrated. Eventually, you know what happens? When you fighting people bigger than you, they know you're gonna give up. And they're gonna continue doing the same thing that they've been doing. So here's the name I want to call out, and I want her to continue doing what she does every day. Her name is Kate Vargas. She does Howdy Politics. And she was on it. She was on it so much that some of the stuff that she was reporting, she had to take down. But she was in the know. But she was willing to sacrifice for the bigger picture. But what I've noticed is that she couldn't go all the way there. She was at an impasse. And let me tell you what an impasse is, so you understand. An impasse is a situation where you're stuck, where no progress or movement is possible, often because people can't agree. It's not hard to be at an impasse, trust me. But here's what you got to do. See, when you reach that impasse, like me and her did, and you can see the whole picture of how things fell apart. You got to come up with either you're going to join them, or you're going to protest them, or you're going to come up with a plan that makes it work. I want to tell you about a plan that makes it work for everybody that's involved. Everybody. And I'm going to put it out here today. Today, I want to start with one simple idea. If we're going to change Texas, we have to think Texas first. And that part right there is what I need you to lock in on. Texas first. Because evidently everybody's not on board with this plan. See, they want to come from other states and tell us how we should feel and what we should do. They want to jump in other people's comments and tell them that they should be on board with this and they should do this and they should do that. No. Let's get something straight. Texas first. And you say, well, Ron, what are you talking about? Texas first. Let me jump in early because I need you to see this. And I'm going to add it to the stage right now. You see that? Texas first. If we want people to really support us and understand what we're about and what we're doing, we need to change our approach. And you know who got me started on this? I'm going to remove this because I need to talk to my people. You know who got me started on this? Same person I always admire. Same person that gets me to where I need to be. And I'm always follow her posts because she motivates people in a way that most people don't. And if you can get past everything that's out there, you can get past this. Because we're going to get past this. We're going to ask something of a person that wants something from us. See, because if we don't come up with a plan or a solution, what ends up happening is that either it goes one way or it goes the other way. Either way, we lose. So here's what I want to do. That means we do not build this around one person. I'm going to say that again. That means we don't build it around one person because that's what they're trying to do. When you come into Texas politics and you select cherry pick one person out of there and you want to get behind them 100%, what you got to realize is Texas is big. Texas is dynamic. Texas is one of the largest states in the union. Number two in the states that you call states. So you're not going to come in here and cherry pick from a national party perspective and pick one person and then say, hey, I'm all in on that. No. We can't let you do that. Because if that's your approach, we can go another way. But if you want to compromise and you want to get to a point where you can get everybody in the state of Texas on the same sheet of music, none of this separation or I got to win back the vote and all the rest of that. Not any of that. We need to stop that. You don't need to go in the black communities talking about you need to talk to black people because what you're doing is separating people from one another. And you're not going to do that here in Texas ever. See, because you're going to need everybody to come on board. But here's what we're going to give you in return. Here's what we're going to offer you in return. See, when you come in here and cherry pick, we want you to cherry pick that one person, but we want you to add something to it for us. Well, we get something out of it. See, because we got a man that's sitting in the office of governor right now that doesn't have nobody on the opposite side. Nobody. Nothing that he does is geared toward helping us. But yet you calling one person that you select out of everybody else and you saying that's turning Texas blue? No. That's not Texas blue. That's a national party that's trying to tell a state what to do. And just so happened that I'm going to say it one time and one time on. Just so happened that you picked somebody that fell into your lap, that fell into the concept that you sold them. But here's where I'm going to challenge you, man. See, because I'm on the other side. I was already saying I wasn't voting for him. But see, in order to bring people in to vote for him, I need to give him something to fight for, and I need to give them something to fight for. Because if you don't do that, you basically just call yourself getting benefiting from what you did, and I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you have that privilege. I'm going to tell everybody, and this is what I need everybody to listen to from this point forward. I need you to listen into this building program that's going on. And I'm going to start putting it out up until we got 90 days to this election. You don't have that long. So if you want to build in the state of Texas with your one person, you're going to have to do some stuff for Texas too. Let me just say this. We do not build it around one office alone in Texas. We do not build around a city, a race, or a headline. No. You ain't gonna get us at these. We've been around for a pretty good while. We build around the whole state. One roof, one mission, one coalition. Texas is too big. Texas is diverse. Texas is important to be divided, too important to be divided up into fragments, which you did. And I'm not holding nobody in the state of Texas accountable for it, but I'm holding a national party that came in here and divided people up. Now they want restitution. They want to put them back together. And that's not the way we work. See, because if we want something to change in Texas, we're going to have to do it. Nobody out of New York City. I don't need to call no names because the people that I'm talking to, they know who I'm talking to. I'm going to say a city. I'm not going to call you out in this video. But if I have to, I can go back to it and start calling names. But here's the reason why I didn't do it. Because I need you to understand, if you want something from Texans and you want something it don't matter about race, creed, color, whatever else that you want. We're tribal. We're tribal. And I need you to understand this. You know, if we're serious about moving this state forward, then everybody has to be under the same roof. Urban, rural, black, brown, white, working class, young voters, old voters, Democrats, independents, and every Texan who wants a government that actually works. That's Texas. That's a Texas first strategy. Just remember what I just said. That is a Texas first strategy. We don't need separation. We need people that's on board. And the way you build a Texas first strategy is by first understanding where the real change starts. And I need my people. This is sitting in your space. It's made for black people. I need my people to understand something. And I need to talk directly to them because we're angry. I'm not saying we don't have a reason to be angry. I'm not saying that we have to give into the vote, but here's what I'm gonna offer you is solutions. You know, a senator can fight in Washington. A senator can carry Texas values to a national stage. But here's the one thing that I need you to understand is Texas. But the governor's office, that changes. Texas from the inside. That governor can sign or veto bills that affect you daily. That governor can make a change. And you see the change. That person that you send into Washington, you see what they're trying to make this whole state about? Ain't gonna change that much here. But if they want something, make them pay for it. Give them something that they have to give you in return. A governor can call special sessions. You've seen it. The Democrats left the state, trying not to be a part of what this man has done. But nobody's coming up with solutions around what's going on. So I'm changing it. I'm putting it out there. You may not like it, but I'm gonna put it out there. The governor can shape the direction of the whole state. Some of the stuff that they have the ability to do, a senator won't have the ability to do it. But and I don't want to confuse the two. I want you to understand that we can change it blue. But why not change it blue the way we want to? Why not change it blue that where it affects us? Because once that senator leaves the state and goes to Washington fight, he's not fighting to change your everyday life. A governor makes a decision within the state of Texas that can change the way you look at politics. And all the fight that I had within my body to just fight one person and hold them accountable, I had to change. I'm having to change because I need to get something out of that one person to help the state of Texas. So when he goes to Washington, D.C., he can come back to a state that's well protected, that's well guarded. The governor is where the change becomes real. Let me just tell you this. I'm willing to give him my vote. If every time that he shows up at one of these sessions, he takes it off of black voters. It's not about black voters no more. It's 90 days out from the election cycle. It's not about black voters anymore. Y'all played y'all games. You did what you had to do. Today, we need to unite as one front. Texas first. Not one single person is going to make a difference in Texas unless we change the governor's office. And I need you to understand that. That's why Gina Hinojosa leads this conversation that I'm about to have with you. Not because she's the only one who matters, but she's in the race to change Texas. And what most people are not realizing is they complain if she doesn't win, it ain't going to matter about James Talarico winning the Senate. It ain't going to matter because you're going to still be living in a red state with that crazy man that's named Greg Abbott and whatever his name, the old sportscaster is lieutenant governor. If we don't change this narrative, and you want to know what they ain't afraid of James Talarico because see, James Talarico is going to leave Texas and go somewhere on a national level, and he ain't going to be the changes. What he leaves you in the state of Texas is that same governor that's in place, and you going to feel the same. See, when a national party has their agenda and they come into the state and they want to pick one person out, it's because they have a different agenda. They're not trying to help Texas as a whole. See, Texas can change. Texas can evolve to blue. But the way that we're going about it, we're dividing ourselves when we need to conquer their governor's office. And if they're willing to spend the money that they put into one person, and every time that this one person goes out and want to stomp, take the black off of it. You don't need to win the black vote. You need everybody's vote. And the first thing that you need to do is bring Gina Hinojosa along with you so we benefit, not just you. So when you in fighting that national fight, we got somebody in the state of Texas that's working for everybody, not part of the party, but everybody. Because you're going to need independence. You're going to need everybody that you can to come on board to even help you beat Ken Paxton. But if you want to get us, you're going to have to bring Gina Hinojosa along with you at their expense. They want this, and they want to spend that national money in Texas. Tell them they ain't spending it on one candidate. They're gonna have to spend it on two. And in the state of Texas, we need to get that message out, because I hear people out calling other people simple-minded, because we don't want to just help one person in the state of Texas and then put up with the BS that they left. But they call you simple-minded. They call you out of your name. They force their issues upon you and people that's within the state of Texas, saying, oh no, we need this person. Well, if you need this person, this is what we need for you to get this person. This, you can't vote here, but you can complain about what's going on outside of the state of Texas, but Texans can take control. And I got you a plan. Texas first. I'm not the smartest person, but if I know that running after one senator and holding him accountable for the whole state of Texas is not doing anything good for me, it's something wrong with me. Because when he goes to Washington, D.C. as one person, I still got to deal with that person that's here. So if you want to do something, if you want to change something, if you want to be about something, if you want to have a mission, you know the National Party don't have no mission. They out to destroy. What you need to do is come up with a plan that's going to work for everybody from Texas. When you come across that border, I want you to know that you're in Texas. We're represented. We got somebody by the name of Jenny Hinojosa, that's the governor of Texas, that they said that the governor couldn't be moved because he was backed by a crazy man with a 34 count conviction in Washington, D.C., and he basically destroyed our state. And when he destroyed our state, he took away representation. But you see, what he left open is that governor seat that we can all get behind. And here's what I'll say, and you heard me calling his name a couple of times. Chuck Rocha, you live here in Texas. If you want to get behind something, get behind this Texas First movement. Get your packs or whatever you got to get in place and help us move this thing where we can get some of what we want. You, from what I understand, you from Texas too. Don't leave us with this governor and let them take what they want and come into our state and cherry pick. Because that's what we're mad about. That's what we're mad about. It's you allowing them, we're allowing them, the National Party, to come into our state and cherry pick who they want out of it, but we don't get anything in return. And the only way that we're going to get anything in return is we're going to have you put some money into that governor's race, so we can give you what you want. You just wanted one. I'm willing to change my position and for these next 90 days, fight. And own my position where I am, because if I don't do that, I am playing into that role of being a simple-minded person. I am playing into that role of just being selfish, because the things, even, and I'm going to take this a step further, because you need to understand, even what Candace Weber stood up and asked you about doing that meeting, what you should have did, if it was set up correctly, is say, listen, Candace, I'm going to Washington, D.C. I can't change what's going on in the state of Texas, but you know who can? From the day one that they get into office, they can change. Just like Trump said at that stage, he can change. The governor can change. The governor can upset the norm of what people normally have in the state of Texas. And you might say, "Well, Ron, you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about." Let me share this with you. Right here in Houston, they was making a mistake. They made a mistake. They thought they was going. They thought they was going to run away with a win. We got a judge by the name of Gina Hidalgo. We got other black judges when they call themselves gonna run the Republicans one place and then run the Democrats all over and everything else, and Democrats went in there and pulled a straight ticket. Do you know what happened? Man, the whole dynamics changed. They were upset. They were upset. That's what we need to do now. Let's stop bickering. Let's stop arguing. Let's stop talking about black and white issues. And I'm gonna even pull my words from skinning and grinning. Let's stop skinning and let's stop it. Let's get on board this Texas First plan and make them understand that you don't cherry pick in Texas. If you want something, you spend the same amount of money to get our governor in office as you spending on him. And every time that he goes out and beat that stump, don't see. Let me tell you what we unite on. Because you held somebody accountable for his actions. That's just one person in the state of Texas. We need to combine efforts and use that same energy that you attack people to bring us together. Because if we don't come together, you don't get what you want, I don't get what I want, and they get everything that they want from the state of Texas. And in case you don't understand who I'm talking about the political party called the Democratic Party that operates out of New York City. Her name is Liz, Lissmith. They plan to destroy Texas at all costs to get this one person on a national agenda. See, I need you to understand what I'm talking about. I need you to go with me for just a little bit. I'm going to digress to bring you forward. See, it was a group of people that was empowered, that had the ability and had a nest egg of money that one person was sitting on in the state of Texas that had a plan to change Texas by 2030. That plan would have took longer to put in effect, but it was a plan to change Texas where we stood on our own. We had more representation inside the state. But one person decided that they didn't want to no longer be part of this plan. They took flight because they couldn't stand the long term, but they wanted the short term. Chess and checkers. No, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to assume who I'm talking about, because I don't need to call their name, because I need that same person to come back on board. And realize that if we're going to turn Texas blue, when he leaves to go to the Senate, when he comes back home, he needs to know that he put in some effort to turn Texas blue. And the only way he's going to put in some effort to turn Texas blue is he going to have to grab Jenna Hinojosa and take him everywhere that he goes, because they're already spending the money here. Why not make them spend it for a bigger picture? See, we got 90 days, short period of time. We've been bickering, we've been fighting, we've been asking questions. We didn't let people get destroyed during that time. We accepted all of that. We went through our fighting period. It's 90 days out until this election cycle. Trust me, they don't want this Texas First plan. But if they wanted what they want out of the state of Texas at one single person, they're willing to compromise. But if we continue to follow their pattern, their thing that they're approaching in the state of Texas, and let them walk in and handpick who they want and leave the rest, leave us in this mess with Governor Abbott, it's something wrong. And it's something wrong with one person saying that I'm not going, I can't get my hands in that. So I'm telling you, this is a Texas First plan. cancel everything that you have to get the black voters. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to get them. I'm giving you a plan to lay out to help get black voters on board. Texas first. Put Texas first. Because if you bring Jenna Hinojosa into your camp where they're already spending money, it elevates her. Jenna Hinojosa can carry that message that you need to carry, because when you leave to go to DC, that's your battle. You bring it, that's where your battle is. People need to understand the difference between the offices. So Jenna Hinojosa can do more for the state of Texas than James Talarico can. But since National has decided that they wanted James Talarico, we can decide, we can give you James Talarico, but you're going to give us Jenna Hinojosa. Since that's the way they play. They love playing. Everybody call it politics, right? Remember? When I was fighting for, I'm going to call her name. When I was fighting for Jasmine, nobody understood how come I was over here. Nobody understood the reason why I was still here, the reason why I was still upset. But I'm going to tell you, in order to get me off of that battle, in order to get other people off of that battle, they need to know where real change can happen. Because if you're selling them on real change about a senator, it ain't happening. That senator will leave this state and go to Washington, and things stay the same in Texas. But if you want to put a fear in their heart, if you want them to get nervous in the state of Texas, if you want the Republican Party to decide where they're spending that money, where they won't go anywhere else, give them a plan that they have to work on. Here's the plan: Texas first. Because when they realize that they might lose the governorship, the lieutenant governorship, and the whole state might turn blue, trust me, they're going to spend some money here. And let them spend it. Make them spend it. Because in turn, what that does is give them less money to go battle anywhere else. That's called chess, not checkers. So whenever this video goes out and somebody sees it, I want them to understand that we're going to start playing chess just like them. We're going to demand something in return. And what we demand is for Jenna Hinojosa to become governor of Texas. What we need you to do is concentrate that money into Talarico and Jenna Hinojosa in the state of Texas. So we feel like we got something out of the deal. See, I'm gonna break it down so we can understand. I don't need you to spend $25 million to get black voters to come on board for James Talarico. What I need you to do is spend $25 million toward Jenna Hinojosa, and we'll come on board. We will come on board. So if you want somebody to lead that campaign down here in Texas, and I know the person to do it, I'm gonna even give you the person to do it. Chuck Rocha. He's good. He knows the state of Texas. He knows that side of the party. And I'm sure that he's big enough to negotiate on the other side and get some of that PAC money and put it into the state, not into one person, because you want what you want. We want what we want. I got to go back to my script because I'm getting off script, but I need to do that to help you understand the reason why Jenna Hinojosa is more important. Because if you want change the agenda for Texas, you got to start with the office that actually sets the agenda for Texas, for Texans, for schools, for policies that's going around the state of Texas. You want to stop ICE? You got to change the governorship, not send him to DC, not send him to Washington, because he ain't going to be able to change that much up there, but she can change things here. Let me tell you what a Texas First plan does versus what's out there right now. What's out there right now is division. What's out there on a national level is division. In Texas, we can come up with a plan for everyone else to follow. Because this is not this is about a state where you live and where the changes take place. Local changes affect you directly. That fool in office in Texas can say that he ain't gonna do something or change the way the maps run and everything else and get his way because he thinks that he has a president up there. But if we change the office, put him out of office and make him make a decision based on voting, all of that change. See, all your goals that you want to achieve on a local level, everything that you're saying that you want to do, including myself, and the things that you asking James Talarico to do, he can't do. Now, if you want an immediate change and you want to see what happens when you take the governorship of that state and you make that governor work for you, and that governor understands some of the pain and suffering that you go through, that governor understands those rural counties down there, everybody has to have things that they want to fight for, that you need hospitals and everything here. That governor that's in the office right now, he's on a Trump plan. He's on the Trump plan. You need to understand that governor can change your immediate outlook. But if we don't give that governor something to work with, if we don't help that governor, if we continue to follow this plan of one person and let it divide us as a whole, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. She is the one that can change the direction of the state from the inside. She is the one that can turn the conversation from reaction to action. She's the one who can take Texas from being managed by someone else. And when I say managed, when that man said that he needs to redistrict the map, Governor Abbott didn't care about who it hurts, who lost the representation, or any of that. He did it because he was asked to do it. What if you had somebody up there that he knew that he couldn't ask to do it, and they wasn't going to fall for his okie doke? He couldn't control them because they're controlled by the voters within the state of Texas. That's what a governor does. They're controlled by your vote. And until you understand that, for all the people that's out there thinking that they vote in their best interests, that was a good example of you not having your best interest voted if you're on the other side looking in. Because if a man from the Washington state can tell your governor what to do and he does it, what does that say about him? That means that he don't care about what's going on in the state of Texas. He doesn't have Texas' best interests at heart. Because if he did, he doesn't get his orders from outside of the state of Texas. We need somebody that takes orders from within Texas that represents the people of Texas. Don't matter what color they are. But they need to take orders from the voters in Texas. So if you want to send a message to those people that's in New York that want to stick their hand into our politics and cherry pick who they want and leave the rest of it the same, we got to stop that. And you know how you stop it? You vote Gina Hinojosa into the governorship. And I'm going to say it, and you know, it's hurting my heart. If they want Texas to come on board for James Talarico, put Gina Hinojosa and Talarico, put some money into both of them. Don't have them going separate missions. Every time that you want James Talarico to show up at a town hall meeting, notice I didn't say black, Mexican, or anything. Show up at a town hall meeting where he's there. You put Jenna Hinojosa there. And if James Talarico is not on the same page, because I seen him go on national media with his mother, what is he leaving his mother to? Because if his mother still stays in the state of Texas, but she doesn't have representation and he's in DC, what does that tell you? Don't do it for me. Do it for your mother that you say you love so much. That's still around. She'll be here in the state of Texas dealing with Greg Abbott because you wasn't willing to make the sacrifice to bring Gina Hinojosa on board and say, hey, you know what? If you want one, this is our plan. You got to get Gina Hinojosa on board for the next 90 days. That has to be the plan. Stop wasting your time on trying to get black voters on board and bring Gina Hinojosa into your campaign. Now, here's the thing that you got to realize when you do that. Gina Hinojosa, when she comes in there, she has to speak first. She has to answer the questions of what she's willing to change in the state of Texas. Then she has to introduce you as our fighter in Washington. Because we're going to still need the money and the funding to come down to Texas any kind of way that we can. We're going to satisfy that national thing. But you need to help us fight for what's here when you come back. You need to help your mother and everybody else that's in the state of Texas fight for something here. You need to bring Gina Hinojosa on board with you. You need to follow her narrative, and then you can follow whatever they want you to do. And let me step back just a minute so people don't get too confused. James matters because he carries the Texas fight to Washington, D.C. He helps shape Texas representation at a federal level. He's part of a statewide picture, but he's not the same kind of power. He's not the same kind of power as a governor. That distinction matters. A senator speaks for Texas in Washington. Notice what I want to say this again so people can understand. A senator speaks for Texas in Washington. A governor changes Texas in Texas. And I'm going to tell you how you get her to make these changes as you vote in. You have to get somebody that matters in the state of Texas. And I'm going to break it down so we can all be on the same page. I'm looking at my time. I still got time to go. You have a person running for the lieutenant governor. Her name is Vicki Goodwin. Vicki Goodwin. That race matters because Texas is not about the governor's office. It's about the full power structure that we can put in place. Vicki helps shape the legislative division of the state of Texas, of the state of Texas. And in Texas First strategy, that kind of role matters because it helps move the whole state forward. Then you have the rest of the statewide bench that you can put in place by voting Democrat. Set Sarah Eckhart for comptroller. Control the money. When you give Gina Hinojosa people and places to fight with, we begin to control the narrative. We begin to make it better for Texans, not just Washington. Ben Flores for land commissioner. Clayton Tucker for agriculture commissioner. And John Rosenthal, part of the Texas statewide bench. We need to put those people in place for Gina Hinojosa. We need to stop bickering and fighting and talking about what we want to the wrong person. Because the change happens with the governor. Let me put this back up before I go any further. I need you to understand this. If you don't understand anything else, I need you to see me in this picture. This is the only way that I can feel like I'm doing something for the state of Texas is I have to come up with a Texas First plan. Because if I continue to complain, telling you I'm not voting for James Talarico and not giving you a reason to change who you are, I'm no different than a person that's out there I'm stuck in my feelings. I ain't gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that no more. What I'm gonna tell you is I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna change for James Talarico, but he needs to put Texas first. And that's a Texas First plan. You don't need my picture in there. You can do it yourself. Just use whatever you have to use, because I'm gonna tell you this, and I need you to understand that it's not about me. It's not about me. We need a Texas First plan because those people from New York City, as they used to say in that commercial, have came down here and tried to dictate the terms down here in Texas. We need to tell them I'm sorry. Whatever you got going up there may work for you, but whatever we got going down here in Texas, we're going to put Texas first. And you ain't going to come down here and cherry pick one guy because you think it's going to move your agenda up there, because y'all got bigger problems to fry, but we're going to solve our problem down in Texas. If you need something from down here, it's going to come as a group plan. It's going to come as a part of a governorship. You ain't going to take what you want and then not change the governorship, not spend any money in the governorship, not help us. So if you want to spend money with James Talarico and you want to stop having to spend excessive money, adopt the Texas First plan where you spend the money in the governor and James Talarico. And anybody that wants any different, they may not be a part of Texas. These people are coming in from outside, looking in, telling us what we should be doing, where you should be spending the money here and helping us as a whole. I want you to look at it. It says Texas First. You can name it whatever you want to name it. I'm giving you the option to do whatever you want to do, but if you don't include Jenna Hinojosa, and every time James Talarico shows up in a place, you're defeating your purpose. You're going outside of your way where you don't have to do it. Jenna Hinojosa, Talarico. Jenna Hinojosa, Talarico. You can get the state of Texas. You can get black voters, because black voters will understand that Jenna Hinojosa can change Texas. And that's the narrative that you miss, and that's the narrative that I miss. And I must admit, because I was kind of selfish, I was saying the hell with it. But I can't say the hell with it when I got to live here in the state of Texas. I got to say, what can we get out of it? That's what we got to demand, is what can we get out of it? If we get Jenna Hinojosa out of it, oh man, I'm all in. When I see his name come up, I'm gonna just vote it, because I know that it had a purpose. But in the next 90 days, if you don't combine him and Jenna Hinojosa, I'm gonna feel like you don't want Texas. It's still a selfish person running around, because if they don't turn back to you and say, if I don't get Jenna Hinojosa to come out with me, I can't go out there to my people. I can't face them. I'm just putting the information out there. Whether or not you take it is, call me a simple-minded fool, but call me a simple-minded fool with a plan. Because I done heard black media, I done heard white media, I done heard social influencers, I done heard people talking about politics in the state of Texas, but none of them had a plan. But what they said is that if you don't vote for this guy, it falls apart. Well, you don't live in the state of Texas, because if you did, you would never make that statement. What you would say is that if this guy doesn't get Jenna Hinojosa on board, he doesn't care about the state of Texas. So why can't we get something out of you wanting him on a national level, and we're needing to change Texas at a local level? I need you to digest it because I get too excited. I don't think that people receive as well. So I'm going to take it down a notch and get back with you on this because Texas names matter because Texas does not flip by accident. See, flipping one person in the state of Texas doesn't change for the people here, doesn't move the narrative for the people here. And I'm telling you what I'm doing. I don't have one of these teleprompters that's right behind there. I'm trying to stay on point. So if you see me looking off, I'm not cockeyed. I'm trying to share a message at the same time. Texas flips when the whole structure moves. Comptroller, land commissioner, agriculture commissioners. These are not side issues. These are part of a machinery of power. And let me jump down. Because I need you to know that it has to be a complete plan, not a partial plan of bringing Gina Hinojosa into it. We need to send a message back to national. What we want, what we demand. If you want just one person, well, you can have that person. We're going to give you that person. We're going to vote for that person. But this is what we need in return. Then you have Cullen already in the 33rd Congressional District. Color matters because the congressional races help to change the map, protect the coalition, and build a federal bench that keeps Texas in play. This is how you create a momentum that reaches beyond one election cycle. Color already. And I'm going to go back so you know a thought. And then you have congressional strength in the urban and regional districts. Sylvia Garcia in Texas 29. Kristen Manafee in Texas 18. Letitia Gutierrez, I'm telling you, I'm not good with names. Letitia Gutierrez in Texas 9. That, what I just showed you is what a real Texas First Coalition looks like. Not just one person, not just one race, not just one piece, but a whole state moving together. I got to get through this because I need you to understand. I'm take a little bit more time. Why Gina leads? Now let me be clear about why Gina leads this conversation. A senator can speak for the state of Texas and Washington. A senator can raise Texas issue at the federal level. A senator can fight on the behalf of Texas, but the governor is a person who shapes what happens inside Texas every day. That means that a governor's office is where the immediate change becomes policy. It's where schools, budgets, affordability, public priorities, and the direction of the state all begin to shift. That's the difference. If we want Texas, a Texas that works better, then we need to change leadership that can change Texas from the inside. That's why Gina is the lead. Unimportant. Let me just say this again. I'm going to say it in my way. That's the reason why Gina has to lead. That's the reason why we have to attach Gina to James Talarico, because they're willing to spend the money on James Talarico, but they're willing to leave our state with getting something that they want. But if they want it, make them pay. Remember, it's called politics. It's called politics. That's what they call it. They don't care. They don't have no problem. The Texas First strategy is not just a campaign list. What Texas gets in return. See, you need to know what you get in return. Now, here's the part that matters politically and emotionally. If national Democrats want Texas, want one person out of Texas, make them pay for it. Then Texas doesn't get treated like a place to be cherry picked from. They do not get to come in and grab one candidate and take the headlines and leave the rest of the state to figure it out for themselves with this man that's currently in the governor's office. And that's where we got to change, and we got to demand that of our national party, that you need to invest into Texas. James Talarico needs to understand that he needs to give his mother a place to stay in Texas that represents her. You don't have to go on national media and say, this is my mother. You can say, I left my mother in good hands, in Gina Hinojosa's hands, which I knew if I left my mother in those hands, I know the rest of the state was protected. That's real respect. That's infrastructure. Real attention to local leadership. Real money. A real coordination. A real commitment to the state of Texas. So when you go out there to these campaigns, make sure that Gina Hinojosa is your forerunner. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your mother. Let's just leave it there. All the rest of us is just going to get on board with your mother. I'm just telling you. Texas comes as a package deal. If Democrats want votes, the turnout from black voters, the energy and the future of the state, then Texas has to get something in return. Not just promises, not just visits from a national person. When that national person came down here, you know what? I have to give you credit. Can't take away nothing from that. I'll talk about the taco visit, but at least you had Gina Hinojosa in the room. That's the type of thing that we need to do more of. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to stay positive on that one. That's the kind of thing that I'm asking you to do. Bring Gina Hinojosa into the big picture, and we'll come along with you. Not just slogans, something real. Because Texans know the difference between being used and being built with. The difference between being used and being built with, or being made a fool of. So everybody can come on board. Texas knows the difference, because what you want to do is change your narrative in one place. We need to change the narrative, but we need to change the future of Texas. While you want something, we want something. This is what we want, and you can give it to us. Everybody under one roof. And this is where the larger message matters. We're not dividing people by race. We're not dividing people by region. We're not dividing people by political background. In Texas, if you want that person that you say you want so bad, give us Gina Hinojosa. Fight for Gina Hinojosa. So we can, when that change takes place, that you talking about changing Texas blue, when it changes blue, we see the benefits of it. We receive the benefits of it because we have a different person in the office of governor. And you want to know what that unites? Black Texans, white Texans, brown Texans, urban Texans, rural Texans, young Texans, older Texans, working Texans. All of Texas becomes united because now they have a plan, and they don't care what your national. You get your one person, and we get our Texas. Texas first agenda. Texas first. And I'm going to promote that. I want everybody that has the capacity to do what I'm doing, I want you to come on board this Texas first. Because if we come on board Texas first, we're going to make them change. We're going to have them, if we're going to give them what they want, but we're going to make them pay for what we need. Nobody gets written off. Nobody gets treated like that. They are only useful if they fit somebody else's script. No, your script ain't going to be written in the state of Texas if we put Texas first. We have to demand that you don't come in here and get one person out of unless you put Texas first. And putting Texas first means that you put Gina Hinojosa first. to remove that man that's in that made the changes of redistricting the maps that change the dynamics of Texas. If you don't get him out of there, it ain't gonna make a difference. You can take that one person, and what you're saying is the rest. No, you're not doing that, because we're not gonna let you do it. We're gonna give you a plan back and tell you we're Texas first, and you're gonna put James Talarico in the same place as you putting Gina Hinojosa, and we're gonna both win. That's how you turn Texas blue. Not shrinking the mission, not narrowing the message, not by ignoring people who make the state what it is. You do it by bringing everybody into the same future, because this is about our future. This is not about our past. This is about our future going forward. But if we allow you to come in and mess up what we got here and ask and demand a vote for one person, that's not on you anymore. That's on us. So we need to get something in return for your one candidate that you feel that's going to make a difference on a national level. We need to get Gina Hinojosa on board. Texas has been underestimated for too long. Too many people take this state is too big, too red, too complicated to organize around a real vision. But that is exactly why Texas First strategy matters. Texas does not change because of one personality. Texas changes because the whole state needs to move, and they need to know why they're moving. Gina Hinojosa leads because the governor is where the agenda changes first. James Talarico matters to Texas because Texas needs a voice in Washington, D.C. Vicki Goodman matters because the legislature and the power of structure matters. Now you need to add a couple more people in order to keep this thing going, so they fear the message and everything else. Sarah Eckhart, Ben Flores, Clayton Tucker, John Rosenthal matter because the statewide bench matters. Cullen Allred matters. Sylvia Garcia, Christian Menifee, Latricia Gutierrez matters because that's a coalition to be strong in every region. That's the full picture. That's the Texas First roster. That's the whole house. And here's the message that Texas sends to America. If you want Texas to build, if you want Texas, build with Texas. If you want Texas, respect Texas. If you want Texas, invest in Texas. And if you want Texas to change, start with the governor, build the bench, and bring the whole state under one roof. That's better for the people that's there. Not for one person that you pull out and say, forget it. That is the closing. That's the message. And that's how Texas moves as one. I'm gonna leave you with a couple of facts so you understand. Gina Hinojosa, governor, correct. She's the Democratic nominee for the state of Texas in 2026. Recent report identifies a general election matchup as Hinojosa and Greg Abbott get into it. James Talarico, U.S. Senator, correct. He's a Democratic senator of the U.S. Senate candidate. But his changes don't do anything for the state of Texas. Vicki Goodwin, lieutenant governor. She won the Democratic runoff and faces Dan Patrick in November. You need to know these things. So when you get behind that ballot box, you'll know who these people are. Sarah Eckhart, comptroller. Correct. She's a Democratic nominee for comptroller. She's going to help Gina Hinojosa control the money, everything that's going on in the state of Texas. Gina Hinojosa can become governor, but if she has to fight every step of the way being governor, we're doing our own self a disservice. That one person that they want, if we don't get Gina Hinojosa in there, we're going to do ourselves a disservice. So I need you to listen carefully. Clayton Tucker, Agriculture Committee. Correct. He's a Democratic nominee for the state of Texas. John Rosenthal. You need to get him in office. Nominee for Texas Railroad. Cullen Allred, Texas 33. Correct. He won the Democratic runoff. Newly drawn 33rd district in advance to the general election. Sylvia Garcia, correct district. District 20, Texas 29. Kristen Manafee, Texas 18. He's currently the congressman. If we want to keep him going, we got to continue doing what we're doing. Leticia Gutierrez. I might have butchered the name, but she's from Texas 9. Her campaign identifies her as a Democratic candidate for the newly drawn District 9. All this stuff that I just put out, leaves you with one thing. And I'm going to start using this as my background because we're going to have to do this in order to make a difference. We're going to have to make Texas first. Texas first. If you want to make a change in Texas, let's go with a Texas First plan. And I got it up right behind me, the same names. From the time that, from this day forward of those 90 days, I can't have a mission about black people. I need to have a mission about everybody. I need us all to get on the same page of Texas First. And it came from a little old person that maybe ain't going to amount to a hill of beans. But I'm going to tell you about what the Texas First plan does. It changes the narrative for everybody in the state of Texas. It makes them spend more money. Because if they got to defeat the governorship and they got to defeat Talarico, and if we can change it, that's a blue state. One person is a purple state. If we can change the governor's office in the state of Texas with those down ballots that I just gave you, that's a blue state. But it's going to take everybody coming on board. Everybody's going to have to participate with this goal of changing Texas blue. And it starts, let me tell you out of state people, so the New York City people, it starts with Gina Hinojosa. It starts with Gina Hinojosa. It starts with James Talarico when he's up there doing your bidding for you. His mama lives in the state of Texas with Gina Hinojosa. And so I'm a small person. I'm going to say thank God, thank God, thank God. I hope that you listen in. I hope that you got something out of it. But from this day forward, Texas first. That's all I'm going to be talking about. Texas first. I can't afford to sit there and talk about one individual when they ain't going to make a difference in Texas. They're only going to make a difference on the national level. So anybody that's out there listening to me or has a plan or anything else, understand that we need a Texas first plan to make a difference. Texas first. I want to leave you with this. I want to go out of here, and I don't want my voice to be the last thing that you hear. I want my voice to be part of what you see. Texas first. Texas first. Texas first.